You remember as kids, we used to have so much fun. Would you like to go with me to those parties and just have some little fun with this? Alright? You ready?
A couple of years back, I lost my love for music, which was my primary mode of expression. I was just listening to music like, ugh, I hated it. And it took me a while to get back the joy of it, because I think the pressures of will I make it, where will I get money, am I wasting my time, are my counterparts or contemporaries doing better in life, and all those stresses of, competition in life is serious. You look at Instagram every moment and everyone else is doing better, is happier, has a better family.
At times when you are in your own cocoon or your own space, you are used to the same things, you're used to the same type of chords, you're used to the same thought process of how you write your lyrics and stuff like that.
Other than that, our industry hasn't made it easier for people to be able to flourish financially, to flourish, creatively.
What do people out here do? And I wanted to be a part of that. So coming in, I was very open-minded, just to explore and learn. So
we're like, let's be that space. Let's be that space where creatives can solve creatives' problems. We can come together. We can be like, you know what? I know a producer here. I have a friend here who's a videographer. I have a friend here who's a poet. Let's be the ones who help each other. Let's create that industry for ourselves. Let's create the market for ourselves.
We started off early 2020, just at the beginning of COVID. And so a group of us in India just decided to come together to spend some time just praying every day. And so there'd be a Zoom call going on and prayer happening, and then that evolved to an idea someone had to, let's invite some worship leaders onto this call and pray for them and just get to fellowship with them. And so different worship leaders started coming onto the call, and beyond prayer there was just support for these leaders and prayer for them, prophesying over their lives and just encouraging them in what they do.
In a sense, creatives, whether in church or at work, you guys serve others and make them look pretty, you make, but you don't get recognition, right? And so we wanted to create a space where we could empower you to actually create beauty.
And then bit by bit, the net was cast wider. So beyond worship leaders, we started thinking, okay, how can we get in more creatives into this space? And so songwriters, poets, filmmakers, so different people we started featuring on this call. And the idea was for them to come, share what their story is, what their journey with God has been, as well as what their journey creatively has been, and then just pray over them and hear God on what He has to say about their lives and just encourage them on their journey. This call was initially called Spikenard Collective of creatives coming together. Right now, that's Spikenard Ovation. And so with the Kenya team coming on board, we had now a mix of guests from India and from Kenya, and then that grew to having some guests from the US, from our networks. Now we have guests from Burundi, and that just keeps growing. And the whole idea is celebrating creatives. The name Spikenard is actually the name of a plant that was used to make perfume. And the particular perfume that Mary of Bethany in the Bible had in her alabaster jar was made from, scripture will say, oil of nard, but the full name is Spikenard. And so the idea with Spikenard is to encourage and empower creatives to release that thing of great worth, that precious perfume, if you would call it, out from their lives, and to encourage them to create with it, to release it to the world, and to collaborate with people to release that and glorify God with what He's put inside of you. And so the same way Mary of Bethany gave of what was of a lot of worth to her, the same way our gifts are precious, and we're seeking to encourage people to release that and share that with the world for the impact of the world around us.
We are meant to use that creativity to heal this world. That creativity, that gift, because everybody's gifted. You have probably 2 or 3 or 5 gifts, but that gift of creativity is the lacquer. In a world where we are walking around fallen pieces, broken pieces, our creativity, whether it's in songwriting, whether it's in writing, storytelling, video production, whatever gift you have, that is the lurker that is meant to bring this world together piece by piece?
Like here in Nairobi, we had our first live event in February of 2022. And the event was called Breaking Alabaster Sounds. Yeah, the idea was let's gather creatives together, get some speakers from different aspects. Got a writer, got a singer, got someone who is a leader in the digital space, and just come and speak and encourage creatives.
I think God, well, I know that God has put in us these desires. And the desires are infinite. And when we try and fill the desires with finite solutions, finite answers, we know that it doesn't provide satisfaction. But God has put those infinite desires to write, to create, because He can fill them with Himself.
And then after that, just have a time of creative worship. And what that was is we had a couple of worship leaders creating an ambience of worship, and within that space, having people create. For some that was painting, for some it was drawing, some it was writing, and just expressing your uniqueness in that space of worship.
Creatives are the custodians of the time. We are the ones who mark that season. For example, when you think about the 70s, you look at art. You look at, oh, what are people dressing in? What music was being sung? When you look at the 80s, and I'm like, what's happening right now? And who are the ones who are the holders or custodians of that heritage of that season? And we are the ones.
From that time, we asked ourselves, how can we go about building a community of creatives here who can just come together and support each other on their different journeys. And so that led to the first songwriting camp, Spikenard Songwriting Camp. We had that in March of 2022, and that was just amazing. We reached out to different creatives from our different networks, told them, hey, you're having this camp, and the idea was in one day, gather people who probably have never met each other before, bring them into one space and encourage them to create.
I love these songwriting camps. I really love them. I'm so happy. You guys have an idea. It really feeds my soul. Because this is what I would have wanted when I was starting out. Our community. People who just love on you for who you are, not for anything else. People who understand the struggles that come with it and create solutions for each other, or even are the actual solution that you needed.
I joined Spikenard because I wanted to be part of a community of like-minded individuals and creatives, and that's what I've felt, honestly. This was my first time attending a singer-songwriters camp. I'm not a musician, I attended as a volunteer, and it was just really beautiful to watch and see people come together, create, connect, talk about some of the insecurities we have that we do share actually in the creative field, like whether you are a designer, whatever type of creative, we go through some of the same insecurities, just sharing that and just being able to create.
And along this journey, we've had at least like 4 pillars that have been guiding our activities. The first one is connection. We feel it's important just for creatives to come together and connect, share experiences, learn from one another. There's so much that can come out from just connection with other people who are in the same space as you. You get encouraged on your own journey, you feel like you are not alone. And so creating spaces where creatives can come and connect is one of the primary things we seek to do.
How I've connected with people I didn't know before, and the people that I've worked with today, we've never met anywhere. And when we met, we kind of synchronized, and us writing something together, having a topic and coming up with a song, and writing it and completing it at the same day, and recording it. It's been amazing.
My main reason for coming was to challenge myself and see, is it possible? How is it possible? And I have taken away that it is. It's possible to connect with people you haven't met before. It's possible to collaborate and go through a songwriting process with people you haven't met before.
we are made in God's image, and God is the ultimate creator. And many times, we tend to create so as to get something, so as to maybe make money from this. Let me make this design so I can, get a client and stuff like that, or write this song so I can produce it and make money out of it. And I think beyond that, we just want to promote creation for creation's sake. Whether you have a stage or not, whether you get to record it or perform or display your work somewhere, cultivating that culture of expressing who we are as creators. And not just creating and keeping it to ourselves, but creating and sharing. Many times, we'd hear different people, like, artists who, you have hundreds of songs that you've written, but, you feel you can't share them because either it's not perfect, it's not as you want it to be.
At times when you have your ideas, it's so amazing in your head, but you're always scared to bring it out or to even share it. You're like, this is a cool idea, but only in my head.
And I think my takeaway is, like someone else had said before, is just to create. As long as you have the ability to create, to do it, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just to keep doing it.
The third pillar is collaboration. And the phrase we like saying is collaboration over competition. Many times in the creative space, we try to match up ourselves with other people, and even sometimes what keeps us from releasing what we've created is because we don't feel it matches up to our peers and what will they think. And just trying to cultivate a culture of collaboration. So as opposed to going about things, I'm alone and I have to work this thing out on my own and I have to be the best in this. We believe there's much more that can come out from a collaborative process as opposed to going about it as an individual.
So could see it with the lady, and she was like, you guys will help me correct these lyrics. Then I could see it with my boys, like, I have this idea, but I'm not sure if I'm like, oh, okay. So we are all not sure about what we are doing. We're just thinking and sharing it out and just molding it. And as we were going, I realized, kumbe, we're just the same people, just creating. Few minutes in, when my mind checked in, and it was like, oops, I'm not the only one who doesn't know. We all don't know how the final product will look like. We're just co-creators. And so I eased up a bit and we were able to have some fun.
It's amazing the diversity that came out of it and just how different people collaborated.
Like we are all thinking about one concept, but in different dimensions. And just bringing those three dimensions together makes this song so beautiful and special.
For some, they both sang and wrote, others played the instrumentals, others just helped craft how words will be put together. So we had even someone who was coming, he was a filmmaker, just heard there was something happening for creatives, and he didn't know what was happening. He came, joined the group, ended up writing a verse for the first time. It was in his mother tongue, and it was so amazing.
Nairobi Dalama very beautiful, Oponginyiri Matindo fake and very beautiful.
I need someone to help me with my social media, do the design work for that. I need someone to shoot my videos. Like, there's so many things we need from different people, and just that solo approach towards creativity ends up stalling a lot of things.
I was able to find it easier to come up with lines or words for a song when I already have a certain beat which has been created by someone else. So yeah, collaboration is very, very key for me.
And so in a space of collaboration, you come with what you have, I come with what I have, and together we create something wonderful.
Then I became his son. He's chosen one by default, man, a big man. Hey, now bring it back. Hey, kuja tubonge. Kuja tubonge. Kuja tubonge.
When we came in the morning, we were told about collaboration with other artists. We were told about how different people in that whole chain play different parts, and how we come together and we make magic. And for real, I've seen magic today. We've had songwriters within the team I was placed in. We had an awesome guitarist who just brought such creativity to the songs we were writing. And we have had a really, really, really awesome experience. And I thank God for this opportunity. I thank you guys for this. I think you're doing great things for people in the creative industry.
Yeah, so that was connection, creation, collaboration, and fourth is celebration. Celebration over comparison. As opposed to comparing ourselves with other people, how can we celebrate what each of us is doing? How can I celebrate your wins and celebrate the uniqueness that you bring on board? And so, even like today, as we're having the songwriting camp, at the end of the day, we'll have a performance time.
Our song is called Giamini, written in one day.
Don't get locked in your frustrations. Oh, you gotta get moving, gotta get stronger. Yeah, Giamini, yeah. Oh, Giamini, yeah.
Giamini, Giamini, Giamini. Giamini, Giamini, Giamini.
This is Listen, written in one day by UB&S.
We don't talk about this, about that.
Fear of seclusion, judgment, stigmatization. I'm just out to get some love.
I just need someone.
Remember when I fell for you, now I'm falling apart. Letting go is never easy. Learning to take care of me, learn to guard my heart. Can't live by your fantasy. Someone went to fall and we lost it all. Someone went to fall and we lost it all.
Kuja tubonge, kuja tubonge, kuja tubonge, yeah. Cars, money, women and goals, those ones we easily talk. Issues of the heart, emotional, hapo tunaweka kikomo. We don't wanna talk about the past, trauma and heartbreaks tumepitia. We'd rather hide it deep in the smile, usiku machozi kwenye pillow.
We all have different minds, and seeing how listening to the same thing but someone else interprets it differently and it comes out in an amazing way, yeah, that had me celebrating all the way for other people's can't find that word right now.
What you have to say is important, and get back that childlike freedom in our creation. That's out of the box, that's without constraint. And that's what I hope, and my prayer is for Spikenard to be. That's what I want Spikenard to be, a place of connecting, where different people from different walks of life. And when you talk about creativity, I don't just mean in the typical sense of arts.
Bringing people together is something genius. So I see this growing to be big and being international. So my big ups to the community, my big ups to Spikenard community for offering this opportunity.
I can't forget to mention this. I've enjoyed the food, definitely. I've enjoyed the food, and being my first time in a studio, like you with the mic and you're just there tensed and you don't know what to do, and you're just there, the producer's like, hey, and you forget all the lyrics, and they're like, oh God, now what do I do?
I hope that we'll have people writing, and writing for writing's sake, for joy's sake, for expressing the different emotions that people aren't able to vocalize or speak about, that will be the ones to give language to those people who are unable to express what they are feeling in that time. That's what I hope writing camps will be, that we will grow, that we will inspire each other.
But I think at the core of it is, if you can birth something, come up with something new, and that can look different for different people. But just coming alongside and saying, how can you release what is inside of you and put it out there and have it be a blessing to the people who need to connect with it.
Jorori ne jororaga. Jorori brikicho banture. Brikicho banture. Brikicho banture. Brikicho banture. Nikuje hapana. Nikuje hapana. Nikuje hapana. Nikuje hapana. Motora haijaiva. Motora haijaiva. Motora haijaiva. Motora haijaiva. Coca-Cola Fanta. Coca-Cola Fanta. Coca-Cola Fanta. Coca-Cola Fanta. Jorori. 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 Pixes. 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 Pixes.